My mother said that the night I was born, the church burnt down. I told people, the night I was born, the church burnt down. I heard people say it. Oh yeah, the night he was born, the church burnt down. I thought that I did it, that I burnt the church down. All through my childhood, the remains of the church stood next to the backyard and alley out the back of the shops where we lived. We used to climb into the burnt-out church and look for treasures. Melted coloured glass. Ah well, it felt good to know that something good came out of what I'd done. What shape looks like a dead parrot? A polygon. I've got a very long word here and I'm going to ask you how to spell it. But I already know. Really? Go on then. IT. Do you know why the mummy who was in a tomb in the pyramid for thousands of years never spoke? It was too wrapped up in itself. Do you know what the great boy king of ancient Egypt said when they knocked on the door of his tomb? Toot and come in! What game do little pharaohs play in their tombs in the pyramids? Mummies and daddies. What's a crocodile's favourite game? Snap. There's a French cheese that seems very friendly. It's called Camembert. There is a winding passage that goes up to my heart, and what comes down this passage is commonly called a fart. The fart is very useful, it sets the mind at ease. It warms the bed on wintry nights and disinfects the fleas. Two little boys were playing. One of them put a helmet on his head. The other one said, Viking? And the boy with the helmet said, why not? Where do cows go on holiday? New York. How do cows add up? On a calculator. Mum, I've been stung by a wasp. Quick, let's put some cream on it. Don't be daft, it's flown off now. Why don't you go outside and play football with your brother? Oh no, Mum. I'd much rather play football with a ball. What football team would you find in an ice cream van? Aston Vanilla. I went to the doctor and he says I can't play football. Oh, he's seen you play then. The world's greatest goalkeeper was Robbie Saves O'Reilly. One day he was walking down the street and a woman recognised him. She turned to her friend and said, "That's Saves." "Oh really?" "No, O'Reilly." Why was Cinderella thrown out of the football team? She kept running away from the ball. What's the difference between a gutter and a bad goalkeeper? One catches drops, the other drops catches. Oh dear, you've got your shoes on the wrong feet. But they're the only feet I've got. Hey, look at you, you're wearing one red sock and one blue sock. I know, and I've got another pair just like it at home. What do you call a woman wearing a black hat, riding on a broom, with a slice of bread on each ear? A sandwich. Did you see that you can do sunbathing as an Olympic sport now? Are you going to go in for it? No, I'll only get bronze. What do William the Conqueror and Winnie the Pooh have in common? Their middle name. When did Charles I reign? When it was cloudy. What's the hairiest tree in the forest? The fir tree. Teacher said, "Why is your homework in your mother's handwriting?" And the child said, "I used her pen." What do you call a cockerel who wakes you up every morning? An alarm clock. Why did the traffic light go red? It had to change in the middle of the street. I've got some secret butter. Go on, tell me about it. No, you might spread it. What did the dog say when its tail got stuck in the door? Won't be long now. What's the name of the film about dinosaurs and pigs? Jurassic Park. Once upon a time, a monster was eating a comedian. All of a sudden, the monster spat him out onto his plate. "What's the matter?" said the monster's mum. "Don't you like it?" "No," said the monster, "it tastes funny." What do cats eat for breakfast? Mice Krispies. Why was the piano outside the house? It had lost its keys. Why did the ocean roar? There were crabs crawling all over its bottom. Have you seen the salad dressing? No, I was in the other room. Two snakes were sitting on a park bench. One snake said to the other, "Are we the kind of snake that coils round people and squeezes them to death, or are we the poisonous kind?" And the other said, "We're the kind of snake that coils round people and squeezes them to death." "That's good," said the first snake. "Well, why's that?" said the second. "I just bit my lip." "What do you call an elephant at the North Pole?" "Lost." "Who makes a living from driving customers away?" "A taxi driver." "What has a bottom at the top?" "Your legs." "Which weighs more, a ton of feathers or a ton of bricks?" "They both weigh the same, a ton." 1-1 was a racehorse, 2-2 was 1-2, 1-1 1-1 race, 2-2 1-1 2.
What?
I had a wooden whistle, but it wouldn't whistle. What's at the end of everything? G. How would you describe the rain in this part of the country? Little drops of water falling out of the sky all at the same time. I was sitting by a pond one day and I heard a little frog by the water telling a story about how his car had broken down. Well, the AA came, hooked me up to their car and brought me all the way back, right up to my front door. I walked in and there was someone there and he looked up and said, "Toad?" And I said, "Yes, all the way home." When I was a wee tot, they took me from my wee cot. They put me on my wee pot to see if I would wee or not. When they found that I would not, they took me from my wee pot. They put me in my wee cot, where I wee quite a lot. Did you just pick your nose? No, it was the one I was born with. The perfume shop was waiting for a box of new perfumes to arrive. When they were delivered, the owner of the shop opened up the box, opened up some of the bottles and squirted them. No perfume smell at all. It was a load of nonsense. The rocket was taking off and one astronaut was hungry. He looked at the clock. It was midday. He turned to the others and said, "What are we having for launch?" One neighbour was talking to the other. "Hey, you didn't hear me banging on your wall last night, did you?" "No, we were making too much noise to hear anything like that. Roses are red, violets are blue, most poems rhyme, this one doesn't." "When's your birthday?" "Every year." "When were you born?" "On my birthday." Pete and Repeat were in the room. Pete got up and went out. Who was left? Repeat? Pete and Repeat were in the room. Pete got up and went out. Who was left? Repeat. Pete and Repeat were in the room. Pete got up and went out. Who was left? Repeat. Pete and Repeat were in the room. Pete got up and went out. Who was left? Repeat. Pete and Repeat were in the room. Pete got up and went out. Who was left? Repeat. It was the Insects versus Little Beasties Cup final, an incredibly exciting match. Insects were winning 2-0 right up to the last 5 minutes. Then Little Beasties took off Snail and brought on Centipede. It made a fantastic difference. Centipede scored 3 times in the last few minutes of the game and Little Beasties won the cup. After the match, the players were sitting round having their after-match meal and the captain of Insects, B, said to Woodlouse, captain of Little Beasties, "How come you left it so late to bring on Centipede?" He was putting on his boots. 30 days hath September, all the rest I can't remember. The Shard and the River Thames have disappeared. Police are looking high and low for them. My friend went for a walk, fell over and landed on a pile of feathers. Good trip. An author came to the school and gave a really interesting talk about her book, Silly Solly. Everyone laughed. They loved Silly Solly. At the end of the talk, she said, "Now, has anyone got any questions?" And one boy put his hand up. "Yes," said the author. "Who won the FA Cup in 1985? What was the omelette race like?" Exciting. The couple were looking to buy a flat. The woman looked out the window. "Is it quiet here?" she asked. "Yes, absolutely," said the man selling the flat. "Totally quiet, except when the people round here are noisy." "I bet you can't repeat 7 words I say." "OK, go on then." I am a total donut. I am a total donut. Wrong. What do you mean wrong? I repeated exactly what you said. No, you didn't. I said 5 words. I am a total donut. Then I said wrong. And you said, what do you mean wrong? Mum, I'm going to the barber's. How do you think I should have my hair? On your head, I think. What letter keeps you waiting? Q.
Now, it'd be great if you subscribed. That is, you become a subscriber. Look out for the subscribe button. What happens, you see, is that I make new vids every few months, and then I post them up 1 a week for a while. So if you subscribe, you get to see the new ones just as they come hot off the press. Eeeew.